Hi, I'm Mahesh Ravi. First things first, Happy New Year. This is my brand new YouTube channel. I used to have a lot of content on YouTube, from home videos to multimedia tutorials, and things got pretty much out of control. So I thought of having a fresh start with this channel with informative multimedia content that students can benefit from. So like the video, subscribe to this channel if you want to know more about multimedia. If you like films, photography and design, there'll be a lot of interesting upcoming videos, and I promise you that I'll constantly update this channel with informative content. That's my New Year resolution for 2018. Today we are going to talk about mobile photography. We'll share with you a couple of tricks, techniques and tips that you can use to make your mobile photographs better. So once again, I think I lost it. Okay, I'll be right back, and here goes my channel intro. So we're back. Now, before we start talking about mobile photography, let's talk about what is the difference between shooting in a DSLR and a smartphone. Right? So you might have seen a lot of pictures that is taken in DSLR that looks much better than uh, what your smartphone can provide. There are many reasons that why this is happening. Right? The difference of quality in picture from a DSLR to a smartphone. Uh, DSLR is basically an image making machine, but smartphone is not that. Smartphone is a communication device which happens to have a camera inside it. It's for convenience. It's not for. It's not meant for professional shooting. But so let's see what is different. The main difference is between the image sensors of DSLR and smartphone. What is an image sensor? So when you take a picture, what happens there is that you are capturing the light, the intensity, and the color of that light. So that captured light is stored, it falls into the sensor of the camera and it's recorded there as image data. So in a DSLR, the sensor is usually big and it can capture more light data, thus giving a good picture. But in your smartphone, these sensors are very small. Uh, so when you're taking a picture with a smartphone, the image quality is going to be slightly less. So the second factor is the aperture control that you have in a DSLR. So what is aperture? Aperture is basically the opening that lets the light come inside the camera and fall into the sensor. So how do we control the light, the amount of light that falls into the camera? That is with this device called lens. You might have seen lens in DSLR camera. So there is a lens in smartphone, but it doesn't have too much control. You cannot change that lens. Uh, you cannot change the aperture value. You cannot change the opening of how much wider the opening is to let the light in. So when what happens to an image when you have control over the aperture? So when your opening is bigger, the image uh, that is created will have a very shallow depth of field. Now, what does that mean? When you're shooting an object, only that object can be in sharp focus, and everything beyond that uh, will be out of focus. So that is shallow depth of field. You might have noticed that in DSLR photographs, which is not possible with a smartphone by default because it doesn't have a wider aperture. Considering all these facts, let's talk about how to make your photographs better if you're clicking with a smartphone. Um, so the first thing, the most important thing is that you need to shoot when there is a lot of light. You need to make sure that when you're shooting your food, what you prepared uh, with your mobile phone, you need to make sure that there is a lot of light there to compensate the sensors uh, drawbacks or in capturing the light. So when there is a lot of natural light available, your picture is going to be better. When there is less light, your image is going to be filled with noise and grains. So natural sunlight is the best thing that you can use there, uh, and also it's going to give a little bit of difference to your picture if you're willing to take your food, whatever you prepared outside, and shoot it against a natural backdrop. It's going to give uh, natural light to the image, and also it will give a natural vibe to your picture. It's actually a very nice technique to use. Um, if you're using indoors, if you're choosing indoors to shoot your image, then also there is a way that you can use the sunlight. So this particular technique is called window lighting. You just have to keep your food, whatever you're photographing, near a window so that the light can easily fall on the food that you're shooting. Uh, so what you can do is you can use a plain white sheet of paper to bounce the light from the window to fall into the opposite side of the food as well, letting every single area of the food, is making it more clear in a mobile photograph. So it's just in case if you are stuck in a situation where you have to shoot at night and there is no indoor lights, you can use artificial lights, which is practical lights. You can even use a table lamp to light your scene. Um, to avoid any sort of sharp shadows, you can cover the table lamps with a tissue paper so that diffused light will be coming through the lamp, through the paper, and it will fall on the food nicely. Uh, the one thing that you should never do is to use a flash while taking a mobile photograph. The flash is going to give a very flat lighting style to the food, and it will ruin the detailing and the texture of the food that you're preparing. The image is going to look bad if you use a flash. So try never to use a flash when taking food pictures. The second thing is about the space that you're shooting in. You can easily set up a tabletop studio by using two foam boards and clipping a white sheet of seamless paper uh, on top of it, so that you can build your own studio. You can keep it near a window, and whatever food is coming in, you can clip on different patterned backgrounds, and you can take a picture and it'll still look good. So space is very important where you're shooting. Now that takes you to our next topic, which is uh, the yum factor of an image. When you're shooting a food image, there needs to be an appeal to what you're shooting. People needs to see that image, and the emotional response that it have to generate is an urge to eat that particular food. You have to put a lot of thought into what is on your background of image, what is on the foreground, and what is on the background of the image that you're shooting. You need to stage your scene from the properties that you're using to the plating to the colors in the stage. You have to decide everything and make a wise decision. This is where you compose your shoot well. There are different ways to compose and place your camera. You can shoot it from your eye level, you can shoot it from a standing point, but make sure that you play with your perspective to give a little more impact to the image that you're shooting. The fourth point is about plating the food. So it's not a good idea to take an entire a really big plate with very little food inside it. It's always easier if you take a small portion of food and put it in a really small bowl, and then garnish it, decorate it, place it, so that you have ultimate control over controlling, staging the set, which is much easier when you're taking this picture. So now you're ready, and you have enough sunlight, you have enough light, you have decided your space, you have decided your plating, and you can click your picture. Now, regarding post-processing images, I have done a different video on editing images in Snapseed. So check out that video. The description will have the link to that video. So check that out, and that's it. All the best. Happy shooting. Happy eating. Subscribe, like, leave a comment. Thank you. Bye.